So we are on the home straight with our Sylvia powered rear wheel drive Lancer build. But as I have been saying, it's always the smallest jobs that take the longest time, and we have so many small jobs to do in this video. In the last video, we got the exhaust done, and by done, I mean it's all tacked up, still needs to be welded. But in this video, we are locking off just everything we need to do to get this motor running with its brand new fuel system. We want all the water system locked off. So many things left to do. And every day we edge closer to the LZ World Tour, where we are debuting this thing, but also we need to compete in this thing, and this thing needs a full massive refresh as well, so we're really under the pump. Quickly, I want to say a massive thank you to all the support for this build currently from you guys. You're awesome. If you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, share the build with someone that you know, because I mean, this is the only rear-wheel drive CA18 powered Lancer in the world. Pretty darn cool. We're literally going to get straight into it right now. We're pulling the turbo setup off. On the block, there are a couple of fittings we need to pull off and take to the fitting shop so that we can get a couple of parts we need to do the water and oil lines on the turbo. So let's get cracking, pull this stuff off. One thing I really like about this setup, it's so basic to take apart. It also helps that we have a front wheel drive engine bay that is so freaking wide. There's so much room for activities.
So many aerobics in here, so many activities.
But over here, we have everything we need bagged and ready to go, so we can go to the shops and grab what we need. For real, you should be proud of me. I'm never this organized. I even have a checklist in my notes on my phone, so we're getting there, slowly but surely.
A few moments later.
I've got a bag of fittings here. I also got our brake lines for the front of the car, so we can lock everything off. So I essentially have everything we need to complete the whole front of the car, which is awesome. Sorry I didn't film when I was out, but it's more important that I get things right. It is what it is, but hey, I got a battery as well for the back of the car too, so that's awesome. Look at that. Completes pretty much the rear of the car. Everything looks so damn cool in here. But now we're gonna get right into doing the turbo and oil lines for the turbo so we can bolt all that up for the final time. Job number one, ticked off the list. Job number two, the water lines. So we have our push lock fittings here, two of them coming off the turbo. One is going down into the block down here, and the other one is going around the back underneath the intake manifold. We have our Raceworks 400 series push lock hose here, and we're gonna do it super tidy, make it really nice, P-clip it up around the firewall. We'll just dummy test it first to make sure it's all good to go. Obviously, all these wires need to be sheathed and beautifully P-clipped up as well. So let's keep going. More jobs, let's get it done. And just like that, our water lines are done. I'm so proud. This one here obviously gets removed, and there's a blanking spot that goes here. That's the good thing about these Pulsar turbos as well, is like you can either go from this side, or two from this side, or one from this side, one from this side, depending on your configuration. So it's got like the spots that you can just blank off, which is awesome. But yeah, these run all the way around. This one down here goes to the block. This one goes under the inlet manifold to our custom wee T hose that goes here. And that's it, the simplicity of the setup I am very happy with. So effectively, turbo stuff locked off, we're happy. Obviously it's still just dummy fitted at the moment, and we have to put the wastegate on underneath, but we're gonna do that in a second. First though, we are doing our front brake lines. So a little bit of information about my previous endeavors in life. I used to be a Friggy, which is like an air conditioning installer person. Clearly, I don't even know how to name the job. I wasn't very good at the job itself, but that means I know how to flare lines and stuff like that. So brake lines kind of come easy to me, which is cool. Our rear brake lines are already covered. That's this line right here, goes through our hydraulic handbrake into our rear subframe. That's already all done. So we only have the front brakes to do. Now the front brakes, we got our nice brand new GK Tech brake lines that go from our calipers up here to the firewall, but we need the line that comes off the master, comes down here. It's gonna tee off. One will go through this hole right here, and then the other one will go around the back of the firewall to the other side, and then they just bolt up to our GK Tech lines, and that'll be the front brakes. brakes, done. So it's a bit of a process. We've got our little T-piece fittings and stuff here. All of this was about 60 bucks from a brake shop. So even though it's intimidating, it's actually not as hard as you think. And then we've got our little flaring kit down here. So yeah, let's go ahead, get it done. Just like that, our brake lines are all done. Look at that, nice and tidy. Still need to chuck the P-clips up onto the firewall just to hold them in. It goes through to this hole down right here. I gotta chuck a grommet in there at some point. Now we're gonna pull the turbo off and we're gonna weld the wastegate onto the manifold, and then I can bolt the whole turbo side onto the motor for the final time, like completely done, which is freaking awesome. So here is our complete turbo manifold. I know we had to MIG it, but it was already MIG'd on the flange anyway. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, we had to MIG the wastegate because no one's here to do TIG, and I need to get this thing finished because we have like 48 hours before this thing's on the dyno, which is kind of nerve-wracking. But hey, it's a manifold, looks pretty rad. It's hopefully gonna work, so let's throw it on. Hot side is officially on the motor for the final time. That is massive. I'm so freaking stoked. Look, wastegate's right there. And then it'll point just directly down actually, so it's not too bad. I'm just so stoked at how much room we have here. Like for me to get that angle correct first time is pretty darn cool. So, but it's so good seeing it all complete with the actual lines on properly as well. I've just had confirmation that the dyno is 48 hours from right now, and I'm actually not too worried about that. Like I actually think it's realistic to get everything we need done to get this thing on a dyno and ramping up. We pick up the drive shaft tomorrow morning, which is super exciting. So I think in this video we'll chuck the drive shaft in the car, and then it'll be officially a rear-wheel drive car. That is mental. So many milestones being hit right now, which is crazy. I think this week you guys will probably, hopefully get this video and the dyno video. A lot of videos. Hit the subscribe button. So right now we're gonna go back up in the air again. I just wanna lock off these front brakes before we finish tonight. So I'm just gonna hook up the GK-Tech lines to the new brake lines that we've made, and then we're just gonna call it a night for tonight because it's almost 10 o'clock, which isn't really late, but I wanna go home and spend some time with Tara. I've been neglecting her a little bit lately because, you know, cars, so. So brake lines are in. I had to P-clip this guy up into the wheel arch here just to make sure that that's all nice and secure. And there's a clip that needs to go here. But other than that, the wheel works nicely at full rotation. There's no problems with the brake line whatsoever. So I'm really happy with that actually. Shout out GK-Tech for making such awesome products. They are not a sponsor of the channel, but you always got to shout out companies who make good quality products. But that's enough for tonight. We're gonna wrap it up, but I'm gonna see you guys bright and early, coffee in hand, of course, and we're getting straight back into this thing. Fuel lines going in and being finalized, E85 going in that beautiful Raceworks fuel cell, and hopefully Bailey coming in and us starting this thing up. Feels crazy to say. Hopefully we can make it happen. I'll see you guys in the morning. Bye. So we are back in the beautiful shop and we are ready to put our drive shaft in. Take a look at this thing. It is absolutely beautiful. So what I gave GJ Drivelines was a crusty Nissan end and a crusty MX-5 end, and they've gone ahead and made a basically brand new drive shaft. This is not sponsored at all. We paid full price. This was $450, which I think is a fantastic price. They painted and everything. It's also obviously balanced, which is fantastic, and ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and slap this thing in and make sure that the length is correct. This is a very nerve-wracking part because I measured the length, and if it's wrong, it's completely my fault. Look at the underside of this thing, man. So fun to look at it from this view. I'm actually legitimately nervous right now. Oof, yes. Well, it's a frickin' Christmas miracle because I did not muck up the length measurements which is amazing. And it looks so good in there. Holy crap. That's insane. You know what that means? This car is officially rear wheel drive. I'm actually mind blown right now. Woo, look at that. Rear wheels are spinning. Everything seems to be sweet, Bix, which is good. All right, next up, we're doing the fuel lines. These are the stock fuel lines. They're crusty as hell. They're like covered in the oil from when they blew the motor up and all that stuff. So we're gonna degrease them, clean them up, and put them in the car. That means once they are in and the fuel lines are hooked up to the cell and the motor, we can put E85 in the fuel cell. And then when Bailey gets here, I think we can start the car, which is so good. I think he's also gonna finalize the welds on the exhaust as well. And he's pretty quick, so that shouldn't take him too long. Also off camera, I finished the brake lines as well. So they are all literally done. Fuel lines, let's go. Alrighty, update time. Fuel lines are all in from front to back. I kind of skipped forward a little bit and I just got the job done. So the fuel lines come up here, they're P-clipped here, around to the rail, which is fantastic, and then down the back here, they come up through the floor. We've got a nice grommet around here from where we drilled the nice big hole to get the fuel lines up. These will P-clip here and tie together, then they go into the boot, and then they're all nice and tidy right here. So everything is now officially hooked up to the fuel system, which is awesome. Our battery is officially in and all hooked up. A little messy at the moment, we'll tidy that up later. Bailey is here. He's already busy in the car getting stuff done, so we're kind of leaving him to it, but basically he's making sure that we've got all the grounds and everything hooked up to turn the key on and make sure the fuel pumps work. So when you turn the key, the ECU turns on and it should prime the fuel pumps. So that's the first thing we want to make sure that that is actually correct and everything is right. If that doesn't happen, it means we've got an issue and we're gonna have to chase that issue. Then we can put E85 in the fuel tank. So everything's starting to get a little bit real right now. I'm very nervous, but it's crazy. Like, you have this huge list of jobs to do and it seems so overwhelming. But as you knock them off, all of a sudden you don't have any more jobs to do and you're kind of ready, but it's weird. Earlier today it seemed like I was so far off, whereas now obviously we're almost ready to turn the key, hopefully get the car running, and then maybe spin the rear wheels for the first time, which is going to be really, really exciting. So I didn't expect to get this done in this video. It's crazy. All right, so Bailey's been doing his work. He's got the fuel pumps priming and the starter motor working, which is crazy. We'll show you guys that in a second. And then I wanted to go ahead and be like, hey, let's throw E85 in it and try to start the car. But he wouldn't let us because he didn't want to get the exhaust dirty, because when you TIG a dirty exhaust, it just makes your TIG welds worse.
Yep.
So you finished the exhaust instead?
Yep.
So Bailey finished all of the welds on the exhaust. Oh, SP tools. So nice.
Where's the big stick of that?
The exhaust, honestly, he apologized to me for the welds, all right? Here are the welds he apologized for. What are you apologizing for? That looks insane. What do they say? Hashtag weld porn. But yeah, so we're throwing the exhaust on, which means that you get to hear the exhaust on the car properly, which is if the car starts. We have no idea if it's going to start yet, but that's the end goal. Should we clearance the exhaust first?
Hello.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been kind of waiting for, definitely waiting for actually. We're gonna put some E85 in our Raceworks fuel cell. We're both very tired and very hungry, but we're putting E85 in our car. That's amazing. Yes! These jiggle hoses are like the best thing ever. Such a good invention. Whoever invented those made $1 million for sure. Boom! Go ahead and prime it. Bailey. All right, fingers crossed. Woo! All right, so the fuel setup's working as it should be, which is super exciting. And we haven't changed anything on the motor, so technically this should run, but at the same time, it is quite cold tonight and it's E85, so it might take a little bit to start because this is completely untuned. And it's also started raining real loud as soon as I start filming, so that's pretty cool too. All right, jump forward literally 2 hours later, it's still raining, and we've been chasing wiring issues. We turned the motor over, weren't hearing the things we wanted to hear. And as you can see, we've had to kind of pull the loom apart a little bit to chase a couple of things, and it turns out the CAS wiring for some reason was around the wrong way. The way that Nissan wire them is very confusing, so it's a very easy mistake to make. And then once we got that sorted, the coils for some reason didn't have 12 volt power, which they now have. We have not started the car at all yet. We now have spark and fuel and everything, so we're going to give it a red hot crack. The fueling might not be right, but Bailey's gonna muck around with that on the laptop. So Bailey, you're very welcome to give it a crack. Alright, so we just realized that only one of the fuel pumps was going, which was the fuel pump pulling fuel from the cell and pushing it into the surge tank, but the one in the surge tank wasn't going, and that's because the relay wasn't clicked in. We clicked the relay in, now we've got fuel, so now hopefully it should work. So many dramas. See that? Look at that! She doesn't want to rev though. That's exciting, there we go, that's what we want. Wow, it sounds healthy, huh? That's awesome. Listen to that. That's responsive, huh? All right, it runs so good. This motor sounds so healthy, which I'm so thankful for. Because it's been a bit of a stressful evening, if I'm honest. Now we're gonna spin the rear wheels for the first time, which means Bailey's gonna start it, throw it in gear. We don't have a radiator, so we can't run it for too long, and just spin those rear wheels. Give it some sun, let's go. Let's go. Hell yeah, dude. Are they both spinning? Yes. Let's go. So good. That's you. That is absolutely insane. Like that. Now we know we're gonna make it to the dyno tomorrow night, which I'm so stoked about. That's crazy. There you go, dude. Well done. It only took 3 extra hours.
That was a good high five too.
I know. Well done. That's crazy. Bailey was convinced, he's like, it's a CA, trust me. When you do this, when you turbo, everything, exhaust, it's gonna sound like a Civic. And I was like, nah man, it's gonna sound awesome, but maybe Civics just sound good. Oh, please no. Well, there you have it. The thing turns its own wheels. I was thinking about putting it on the ground and kind of moving it forward under its own power, but you guys are gonna have to wait till the next video for that one. But massive thank you to my boy, Bailey here, for who's clearly tired because it is nearly midnight, for sorting everything out. Without Bailey, I'd be super lost, so thank you, appreciate you. I pay him nothing.
Another crispy high five.
Yeah, that was a good one actually. This thing is ready to go. I'm dynoing it tomorrow. It's still in a little bit of a state, but I'll be coming here tomorrow morning and sorting it all out. We have a new sponsor on board as well for LZ Fest, or LZ World Tour, sorry, which is pretty insane. So you guys will be hearing about that in the next video as well. Next video, dyno video, will drop for you guys on Wednesday. Yeah, but that's the wrap on this one. I'm stoked. The thing runs. It sounds super responsive, so I think it's gonna make like good power, but actually be super drivable, which is freaking awesome because it was dosing very early before, and that's what you get with CA18D plus T. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Hit that sub button if you hadn't, because we're putting in effort and this thing's actually gonna do things. So, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video. We're gonna go sleep now. Not together, that'd be weird. But see you guys in the next video. Yeah, peace. It works. The wheels spin and it's gonna drive. Bye.